as singers, it's really important for our vowels to be well-defined, well-formed, if we hope to have our diction clearly understood by the listener, and if our tone is to be pure and resonant and pleasant. Now, when we speak or write of proper vowel definition, we're really referring to making our vowels as pure as possible for the pitch that we're singing, without any kind of spectral noise or distortions. Now, this doesn't mean that the vowel doesn't go through any changes throughout the scale. Vowel purity is defined differently according to the phonation frequency, the pitch that we're singing, not according to absolute speech language values. Vowel purity refers to finding the optimal relationships between the voice source harmonics and the resonance frequencies of the vocal tracts, the formants. I've made a teaching video on the subject of formants and harmonics that you can check out after this one if you don't understand what they are. I do want to note that the textbooks related to speech tend to present a fairly rigid illustration of the positioning of the tongue, jaw, and lips when it comes to proper vowel formation. In reality, there is always some degree of variation based on the phonemic context. For example, speech practices such as co-articulation, in which surrounding speech sounds tend to influence each other, as well as on individual anatomy and regional speech patterns. However, some commonalities between speakers have to exist. Otherwise, the vowel just will not be recognizable from speaker to speaker. It won't be the same vowel. The vocal tract shape has to conform to some extent fairly closely to the textbook diagrams in order for the formants to fall within that spectral envelope that makes the vowel identifiable to the listener. But do keep in mind that these textbook diagrams represent the averages or the most common positions assumed by singers and speakers in a lab setting. So I want to use today's video as an introduction to my next video series on vowel definition, in which I am going to describe the basic formation of the 5 pure Italian vowels, A, E, O, and U. That is, how we form these vowels within speech inflection range. So this won't include any kind of modifications that we need to make as we go higher up in the scale. I'll talk about vowel modification at some point in the near future. In this upcoming video series, I plan to discuss the most common problems that singers have with these vowels and how to correct them in order to produce a better sounding, better defined, purer vowel. One more note. All tone begins as a mental concept, an idea of how we envision the ideal sound within the context of vowel, pitch, and register. The concept initiates inside our heads before the vocal tract adjusts to form the vowels. So, one of the first steps toward improving our vowel sounds is adjusting our mental concept of our tone, especially how we hear that vowel inside our own heads. This may mean learning to rely more on sensation and functional listening rather than our subjective, aesthetics-driven, external hearing in order to interpret the sounds that we're creating. Are they resonant? Are they clear and pure? Again, when I say clear and pure, I don't necessarily mean without any kind of artistic effect, such as vocal fry or distortion applied to them. I'm referring to how identifiable and tuned that vowel is for the given pitch. Is the instrument functioning freely, efficiently? These are questions that we have to ask ourselves when we're judging the quality of our vowels. As I discussed in my video on tracking progress in singing, I am a big proponent of recording ourselves in order to obtain some objective feedback of our sounds. Listen to a recording of yourself and really analyze your vowels. Learn to be able to judge your sounds outside of your own head and your own subjective hearing. Do you like how they sound? If not, I plan to help you determine why you don't like how they sound and then give you some exercises and some practical pointers for improving them in my upcoming video series. Until then, happy singing!